As the sun rises over the glorious seaside mountain, I begin recording episode 6. Hello everyone. Welcome back to episode 6 of Minecraft Legacy. I did quite a bit of work. Pardon me. I did quite a bit of work off camera. So what the plan is, you can actually see quite a bit of it there. What the plan is for today is I'm going to show you what I've done. And then I'm going to block out some buildings, and I'm going to spend the rest of the episode blocking out buildings while ranting about drivers in my city. Because people need to learn how to drive. So one of the things I did is I put part of a staircase in here. It doesn't actually go all the way down yet. I ran... Whoa. Whoa. Okay. My entire taskbar just went blank. That's fun. It doesn't go all the way down because I ran out of cobblestone. Because another thing that I did is... I'll show you why I had so much cobble in a second. I'm gonna die if I jump off there, but here is too deep. I learned why I can't water blade down the way I was trying to off my house. If you jump into one deep water, you still take all the fall damage. I used a lot of cobblestone that I acquired to finish building the wall. So this is the height of the wall. This is exactly as tall as I want the wall to be, and I'm very happy with it. So now the only bit left to do is finish the wood and make sure that looks nice, and then add a couple more towers. The reason I had enough cobblestone to do this is because I was working on that mob farm that I talked about last time. I figured out that I don't have dispensers, so, and I also really would rather not run around the top area with dirt and a shovel. That's gonna kill too many shovels way too quick. So I've devised a little bit of a solution. Mob AI is just dumb enough where I can get the suckers to walk directly towards me off of a fall. So if I put a glass walkway here, so that way it's non-spawnable. If I put a lovely glass walkway in the direct center, I hope, of this room. I don't think it is, but I'll recount later. Then I can have spawn platforms on either side. I won't have to worry about torches on my middle platform here screwing with my spawn rates. And then I can just dig this down like 30 blocks and they should jump down and fall. And then I'll just include some water elevators on the, and pardon me, water elevators on each side of the walkway. So that way I can get up and down to collect the drops. So this is a 32 by 32 room, because I think that's, if I were to stand in the exact middle of the room, which is somewhere around here, the mobs, this is about as far as they're going to be able to see me. And just in case it was a 32 radius, or a 32 diameter circle, instead of a square, I don't know exactly how that works, so I guess I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna have a walkway so I can just walk back and forth. So this is where I got all the cobblestone. Oh, that doesn't sound like something I want to be near. That sounds like a spider. There's a cave over there. So that's where I got all this cobblestone from, and I've raised up the wall. I need to add some staircases. But it also gave me a lot of gravel and a lot of dirt, and I haven't done much with the dirt yet. But with the gravel that I got excavating that, I laid out some more houses, finished up some of the things that I did. I used some of the dirt to finish up this circle thing here. I don't know if this is going to be a house or if it's going to be like a plaza or something. But that's what I've been doing. I was going to try and build some of the houses, but I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot this into my hotbar. And I'm going to run up here, start laying out buildings up there. Actually, I'm going to go get some of my dirt out of my chest because I'm going to have some time to work on the long ship as well. And while I'm doing this, pardon me, I'm not supposed to be there, I'm going to rant about traffic and drivers in my city. So There's a bit of a backstory. I do a volunteer thing every Friday from 3 to 5 where I go to the adoption center at my local PetSmart where they have all the adoptable cats, and I am the only Friday shift where the kitties get to be let out of the kennels and run around and play. I think the only other time they get to do that is when one of the workers maybe has extra time during like opening or closing, which I don't always think is super common. The workers do feed them on the days that there's no one there, but me and the other volunteers are like some of the only times these kitties get to be out and about in the adoption center instead of cooped up in their kennels. So it's just over the highway, but I live in a suburban city, so it's not as bad as it could be, I feel, if I were to live in like a big city, an urban city, but the thing about suburbia is that we have a lot of those white suburban PTA moms who drive either a cheap sedan or a massive minivan. And the thing about these suburban white PTA moms, and I know it's suburban white PTA moms because I can see them and I know they can see me, they like to disobey the laws of the road because God forbid Salt and Pepper, their children, be late to like, volleyball practice or swim meet or whatever. So I'm going over the highway, and this is one of the only highway I didn't bring an axe. This is one of the only highway overpasses in the city that goes over this specific highway. You gotta go like 2 miles up the back ways to get to literally any other overpass. And it's also the biggest one, and it's also by the biggest shopping center in the city. So I'm trying to get over it, and if there were no traffic, if rush hour wasn't a thing, the drive would take me 5 minutes tops. With rush hour, and because I'm going over towards the direction of the shopping center, I live on the east side of it, and the shopping center's on the west side. Because I'm going towards the shopping center, there's always a lot of traffic. And I'm going towards the shopping center because I don't have enough cobble to make an axe. Dang. I'm going towards the shopping center because that's where the PetSmart is, where the adoption center that I volunteer at is. So traffic, especially around 3 o'clock, because that's when all the children get out of school on Fridays, like the elementary and middle school age kids. Another factor that doesn't help is that there's a middle school like a mile up the road from the shopping center. It's generally just an area that has a lot of traffic. Oh, I have a lot of cobblestone. I'm gonna do some extra work then. It's generally just an area that has a lot of traffic and not a lot of particularly good drivers. So I can usually get to the last light before the intersection for the shopping center, before I start to hit traffic, because I leave about 15 minutes early, so that way when I hit the traffic, I'm not like egregiously late and the cats aren't waiting like 15, 20, 30 minutes for me to get my butt down there. So I'm at the light, like I am the first car at the light. The light is green, but the stretch of road, the block between the intersection that I'm at and the intersection that I need to turn at is completely full. And the intersection that I need to turn at has a red light, so if I were to go, I would cause gridlock, which I absolutely hate people who do that. If you cause gridlock, I'm sorry, you're not a good driver. You need to go get retested for your license. And if you cause gridlock again after that, your license should be revoked and you shouldn't be allowed to drive. Don't cause gridlock. I'm not a very hateful person, but I will admit that one thing that really grinds my gears, gets me proper miffed every single time, is someone who completely disregards that specific law of traffic. So gridlock is unfortunately fairly common in my city because no one understands don't cause gridlock. So I'm at the light, right? I'm at the light. I'm minding my own business. I'm waiting for the light that is the one for the shopping center to turn. I'm waiting for that to, I didn't do this right. I'm waiting for the shopping center light to turn, so that way, even though I'm probably not going to get through it, I can go ahead and, like, try my best to get through this intersection, so that way I can get to my cat thing. So I'm waiting at the intersection for the light for the intersection in front of me to turn. And it's a 3-lane overpass on my side with a 4th lane dedicated for the highway, just to avoid that issue again, because that was also a pretty big issue. There would be so much traffic just because you had half the people waiting to turn onto the highway and half the people trying to get to the shopping center. It was horrendous. They did the best they could. It's still pretty bad, but I mean, there's 100,000 people. I've made this bigger than I wanted it to be. There's 100,000 people in my city. I really don't think there's much else they can do. This is a dynamic shape that I like, without, like, just decimating quite a bit of the development that's gone up around it, which they're not going to do because it's the shopping center. So I'm at the light. I am the first person who will go after the, I'm the first person in line to go once there's space for me. There's a bunch of people next to me. I'm in the, leftmost lane. So I'm, like, once I get there, I'm gonna be able to shift into the turn lanes. There's a couple sedans next to me with those white suburban PTA moms that I mentioned earlier. And, one of them decides, you know what? I am infinitely more important than the laws of traffic. The light's green. I'm sick of waiting. And, Kale is gonna be late for swim practice if I don't get over this highway right now. So what this lady decides to do, I don't want to get marked, I don't want to work on stuff, so I'll just bite the bullet. Go get more cobble. What this lady decides to do is she decides to pull forward like she's going to go into the lane that she is supposed to go into. And then she decides to merge in the middle of the intersection, which is very illegal. Even if no one's going, you're not supposed to do that, because, you know, had I decided to go on, she would have hit me. Or I would have hit her and she still would have been at fault because it's my lane that she was merging into in the middle of the intersection. Like, don't merge in the middle of the intersection. So she merges in the middle of the intersection and gridlocks the intersection. So then the white suburban PTA mom behind her decides, oh, well, if she can block the intersection, I see no reason why I can't block the intersection. And so she goes and she merges in the middle of the intersection again and pulls in front of me and gridlocks it harder, which then encourages the person behind her, who isn't a white suburban PTA mom, it's a guy in a sedan, to go ahead and just pull forward, because at this point he's not gonna gridlock my inventory's full. He's not gonna gridlock the intersection. He just wasn't going, because he might have hung out a little bit had he decided to go. But, you know, Karen and Shannon, or Linda and Shannon, have decided that, you know what? We're gonna block the intersection. So this dude decides, you know what, if I don't go, I'm gonna miss the light. I'm not gonna block the intersection. He goes, I don't give him fault for that. Another suburban white PTA mom behind him decides, oh, this dude's gone. It's my turn. And goes and blocks the intersection even harder. And I'm just like, one, none of you should have gone. None of you should have gone. You're all blocking the intersection. Two of you merged into my lane. And oh my gosh, now if I wanted to go, I couldn't, because I'll be gridlocking it even harder, which is already a pet peeve of mine. Crikey, how did any of you get licenses? God, I heard that did any of you get licenses? Why are you allowed to drive? That's illegal, that's dangerous. If the light were to turn and the people waiting to get off the highway were to have their turn to go, they wouldn't be able to, because all 4 of you are blocking the intersection. And then if the light at the intersection that you guys are now waiting for were to go, well, I'm gonna have to wait extra long now because you guys had the audacity to not only block the intersection, but merge into my lane in the middle of it. Like, what kind of person do you think you are? How self-centered do you have to be to think that, oh, you know what? I'm more important than the laws of traffic. I'm more important than everyone next to me. I deserve to go right now and to disregard any kind of consequences that could ever have for anyone but me. How self-centered do you have to be to do that? Like, Christ, sometimes I'm a little selfish, but like, at least it's warranted. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be selfish about this, but like, I can't do this thing, and I'm gonna be a little selfish about it because like, I have a right to be selfish about stuff sometimes, but like, if you're on the road and your actions when you're on the road can hurt someone seriously because we're all driving giant 2-ton metal death machines, don't be self-centered. Don't be that person who goes, oh, you know what? It doesn't matter if I cause gridlock, the light's not gonna change. Cause like, what if it does? What if it does and then you're blocking the intersection? And then, you know, what if someone is kind of just going on autopilot, not even really paying attention? Cause, you know, sometimes you do that at intersections, especially after a long day. You just see green and you think, oh, time to go. What if someone were to be kind of just out of it like that? They've had a long day at work maybe, and they were to like start driving. They're either gonna hit you or they're gonna block the intersection even harder, and it's not even gonna be their fault because you're the one who's the reason they can't get through the intersection. Oh my god. Okay, so I think I'm just about done with that rant. Maybe I might come back to it later. I had it better organized like 3 hours ago when it's actually happened. I'm not gonna lie. So now I'm gonna finish converting all these to cobble, throwing a few more torches down, and then I'll probably start building up frames after this. Maybe building up a tower instead. But I already have a tower, so I think I want to work on the houses a little. I like to swap between projects a lot. It makes sure I don't lose steam on any one project while I'm working on it. So, I think I'm actually gonna bring these up, but I'm gonna cut that, like, set of 5 there down. I don't like how tall it is. I should have made more picks, and now I have to make more picks. Nice. So I'm gonna make some picks, actually. And then we're gonna finish these houses. So, I think the rant is officially over. I'm not feeling super mad anymore. Not feeling irked beyond belief. No longer proper miffed. I am ready to work. Ready to work hard at this project and have a good time with it. But yeah. If you disobey the laws of traffic, you're not valid, and nothing you ever do will make it valid. So, don't disobey the laws of traffic. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in here. Get it going. Whoopsie. I hear you, Mr. Zombie. But it's becoming day, so it is. Oh, there you are. Good luck getting to me now. Hasta la vista. I can reach you, you can't reach me. There you go. Got him. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. Okay. I think these are looking nice. I think these are looking nice. I like all the angles. I haven't actually played too much with houses on angles. Whoa. Frames. I haven't actually played too much with houses on angles before, just because I don't like decorating them. There's not a lot I can do for decoration in this version, so I guess decorating them doesn't really matter. And I'll probably play with them even more as this series goes, just so I can get better at decorating them, because it's important to have a semi-sizable repertoire of things you can do. And like, I feel like this is important. Whoopsie. This is an important thing to add to my repertoire. Build houses on angles that look decent. Oh, this is gonna irk me. Fix it now. Build houses on angles that look semi-decent, so that way, as I go through the versions and continue to build houses, I can build more on angles that look even better because I'll have had the practice, and then I'll just be able to, like, again, apply all of the knowledge that I have about building and stuff that I've learned, and just go absolutely ham with it. So, I'm probably gonna build up some frames, actually, just get these houses going. I think what I might start with is the circle one over there, because I really want to put a gazebo there. Like, I know this is my first series, so you guys don't really know, like, all the things that I usually do. But, constants in literally every world that I make, survival or creative, there is no discrimination, is, mega trees. I am a sucker for a mega tree. And, gazebos. I love building gazebos. Or, like, just circular builds in general that are, like, places for people to gather. I love building them. And they are constants in my creative worlds, in my survival worlds, even in servers, like, creative plot servers, like, they might come down, but they're gonna go up. Survival servers, and, like, I just love them so much, which is why I was talking about, you know, I'm actually gonna knock this down one, which is why I was talking about trying to use the fact that leaves don't decay to finagle some custom trees, because the thing about that is that it's really kind of easy to build circular shapes with that. And then all I have to do is just make sure I have enough bone meal to get the trees to grow. And then, bam, custom mega tree, which I am all about. I am 100% for that. I am so for it that it's actually going to be my next kind of part of my next survival project. For Yondercraft 1.14 when we get that going. Okay, so now that these are cobble, I'm gonna go ahead and steal my wood back out my chest, and I'm gonna start the gazebo. So I will need some stairs as well. Stairs. We do not get a lot. As soon as things like data packs and modding are added, I am probably going to fix that, because if I'm taking 3/4 of a block, I'm gonna have an extra block if I use 6, and I therefore should get 8. Or I'm gonna have an extra block and a half if I use 6 and should get 8 slabs, and if I use 3, I'm gonna have an extra 3/4 of a block and should get 4. Kind of like how the thing with crafting wooden the logs where they have the just solid log texture. I have sand on me to do this with, and then this will lead to a dock, so I'll just start that off. But like, if I can put 3 logs in, or 4 logs in, and get 3 wood, because I'm just taking a side from each of the wood, I should be able to put 4 blocks in, or 3 blocks in and get 4 stairs, because I'm just taking a quarter of each of the blocks. Like, this is 1 quarter, 2 quarter, 3 quarter, 4 quarter, and the 4th quarter is missing. So if I use 6, I end up with 6 extra quarters, which gives me 2 extra stairs. There's something that has always irked me about this. I need to focus on building this gazebo. So I think I'm gonna do this. Myself a nice base here because I think I would like to do this. Oh, darn it. Well, no one really needs to know that I'm gonna leave this, like, complete. No, I have to light this up for that mob farm to work. Can't have any spawnable spaces or it's not gonna work. And then I'm not gonna be able to just stand there and watch mobs fall to their death trying to get me, which is the entire point as to why I'm building it the way that I am. And then since I'm building the pit pretty deep, what it should do is, even if the mobs do spawn up there, they shouldn't aggro until I'm in the tube. And then I can just put a door in the tube because they can't break that down. What do I want to use for? I could use log. Let me do a quarter of this in log and see how that looks. You know what? I think if I were to do this bit in cobble, yeah, that looks exactly how I think I like it. So let me just finish this off and then I need to put more stairs. And oh darn, it's already almost. Have I already built through an entire? I think this is another extra long episode because I keep forgetting how long I've been recording. I'm supposed to have this timer and I forgot to set it before starting to record. So, oops. I need some stairs, or no, some fences. If I do this then, this is going to give me that kind of supported look that I want, and then I can use slabs for the roof. Yeah, and then just, hold on. Yes, yes, I like that. Don't like that because that's a screw up. Okay, yeah. I like how this looks. Okay, this is significantly more cobble than I think I thought it was going to be, but you know. I like it, so do it I shall. Okay, and that's, yep, so let me just copy that onto the other side, and then I'll make some fences and install them. It's up 1 higher than this. Oh wow, I made the exact right amount of stairs I would need for this. It's always so satisfying when you have exactly the amount of blocks you need for a specific project. And then my seaside city will start coming together real nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and make those fences right after I pull this wood away, or this cobble away, and then I'm gonna put them up, and then I think I've been already recording for longer, maybe, than I am supposed to have. So I suppose I will have to call it for this episode. Alright, we'll just get a full stack, and then full stack of this, and then I don't actually think it makes more than 1 currently. Oh, it makes 2, lovely. But I already feel like that's not gonna be enough. 22, you know, maybe. So want this to be not too tall, so I'm only gonna go with 2. Or 3. Oh, oh. Nice! Cool, I didn't know I could do that. We'll just... Yeah. I think. Hold on, I want to test a different one. 2, 1, 2. Because what I might do is I might add another log here and then stick an extra one there, even though it'll absolutely cost so many more fences. I like that one better. So, finish that up. And then next episode... Oh, thank God, I thought it didn't drop. That would really kind of suck, wouldn't it, if these required like a diamond or iron to drop. Hold on, I need to go get more torches because I need to be able to light this up. Good news is I have sticks and coal, and that's what I need for torches. That is in fact the exact recipe for light sticks. I have a lot of flint. Oh, I've just had the worst idea. Passive mobs can only spawn on grass. So, theoretically, if I were to, get rid of all the grass and dirt in a particular area, in the radius that I know is the, spawn radius, because it would happen to be my render distance, and the render distance influences the spawn radius, I believe. If not, it still probably will work because I'm gonna go a couple blocks, whoopsie, bigger than it anyways. I might be able to force passive mobs to only spawn in an exact area that I pick, which would allow me to create a passive mob farm by nature of I control the mobs. And where they spawn. Oh, I'm gonna need one more. Darn it. It would have been so nice if I'd have been able to make just enough. But, you know, sometimes you don't make just enough. Sometimes you make just a few too little. And sometimes you have to go back and make more, and then you'll have just enough. And then I'll probably take some cobble and go finish that staircase so I can scale that and look at this from... What are you getting? I don't like that you were getting hurt because I wasn't hurting you. I really don't like that you were getting hurt because that was not my doing. So I'm gonna go get some cobble out of a chest and hide in my house for the rest of the night probably, so I don't get murked because yeah, I broke my helmet. It was part of how I learned that water in alpha needs to be too deep to break your fall. What happened was I absolutely jumped off my tower into water that was only 1 block deep, and I died. I experienced kinetic energy there. Fell from a high place. I ate cobblestone. Thank God my spawn is right over there. Where's my cobble? Here it is. But, anyways, thank you for watching. If you're part of the morning crew, I hope your day's gonna be great. If you're part of the night crew, I hope your day's been great. If you're part of the afternoon crew, well, I hope your day's going alright. This has been Ruby Robotic. I will see y'all in the next episode.